Welcome to Car Coach Reports. I'm Lauren Fix. We are talking today about a very competitive category. The three-row mid-size SUV is the most popular category. It's an extremely profitable segment for every manufacturer that's in this segment. And the reason for that is you can carry a lot of people and you get all the flexibility of an SUV and the ride of a car, plus the performance and the ability to get you through anything in life. Today we'll give you a full review of the 2020 Toyota Highlander. Now, it was completely different from the 2019. So if you're thinking old Highlander, you probably want to take a look at the new Highlander, because literally the design on the outside, the inside, the driveline, everything has been improved and changed, and they listened to your feedback, and we're going to go through it all, give you a Car Coach Reports rating, and at the end we'll give you a total so you have a good feel for if this is the right vehicle for you. Remember, we've driven all the competition. You can check that out by making sure that you subscribe to our channel. Now let's take us for a ride. We'll look under the hood, we'll look inside. I'll sit in the third row for you and we'll see if it fits comfortably or not. Under the hood of every 2020 Highlander is a 3.5 liter V6 engine with 295 horsepower and 263 pound-feet of torque, backed up by an 8-speed automatic transmission, and comes front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. An important part of SUV is performance, but doesn't have to be a race car. 7.1 seconds 0 to 60 in regular mode. This is pretty good. Now, there is also a sport mode, of course. There are different drive modes and there are different off-road modes. So you have to remember, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. It also comes front-wheel drive, and it's a pretty heavy vehicle, close to 5,000 pounds. So for performance, I give it a 9. For an SUV, this is a nice, tight turning radius. You should be able to turn around in a parking lot in a nice, tight radius, and that's a really important part of this vehicle. When it comes to handling of a three-row SUV, I think one of the biggest things people forget is it's not just about going around corners, it's about the ride. It's the comfort of the ride. And I purposely took this on a pretty rough road to kind of see how it absorbs some of the potholes and the road transitions. Now, living in New York State, our roads are kind of crappy, to be honest with you. And so I wanted to see how it absorbs the ride, especially if you got little kids in the car or older people or just anyone who doesn't like a rough ride. It was pretty composed. I was impressed with the new design, the new handling, and its off-road capability, which we're not going to show you here, but I will tell you it does have it. Is this an off-road vehicle? No. There's a lot of great off-road vehicles, and Toyota makes a lot of great off-road vehicles. This, I would not take off-road, but if you're just going to go camping or do a little bit of off-roading, light off-roading, I would call it, there's all the drive modes for that, from mud and sand, if you're going to the beach, and also rock. So I guess if you're going to take it wherever you want, this vehicle will do it. And for handling, they did a great job. It earned a 9. Obviously, when you're hauling a lot of people in an SUV, especially a three-row, there's going to be safety as a concern, and is a huge concern for everybody. I get that. So one of the things you want to look for is something that's comes standard, so you don't have to buy up to higher trim levels to get all those safety features, and Toyota has delivered for sure. Some of the safety features that are really great on this vehicle start with a head-up display. It's right in front of you, it's adjustable, it's got the speed limit information, it's got navigation. You can adjust it however it works for you. In addition, the backup camera is excellent. There's blind spot detection, forward collision warning, a lot of things that are not on every single three-row SUV without buying up, like I said, on trim levels. Toyota definitely impresses when it comes to safety, not just the vehicle itself in the crash test ratings, but in addition, everything that comes with this vehicle that you're going to look for. They really didn't miss much, but for safety, I gave it a 9. Visibility is an important part of any vehicle, especially large SUVs and parking spots. So they have the around view camera, which is great. They have big mirrors that are on the side, which make it easier for people of all sizes. Big piece of glass in the front, low sills, which are great. They're not as low as they could be, but it's enough that you still feel safe, but yet you can still see out the windows in all rows. That's great. But looking out the back with the third row up only, you get those 2 headrests blocking the way. And if that third headrest is up, you're going to be forced to use the camera. However, check the rearview mirror. It's a cool rearview mirror. It's got a real camera. So when I flip the switch, now you've got your home link still here, your settings, but this is a separate camera, not your backup camera. And that was really impressive because you only see this on a few other brands. But now I can see what's really going on behind me. I can't leave it on all the time. Maybe you can. It kind of gives me a headache. But the truth is, this is fabulous for visibility when you can't see out the back. So for visibility, I gave it a 9, and that's an important feature. No matter which vehicle you choose in the end, I always say, one of the most important features, the one thing you can't change, where you live in this car is in the driver's seat. And if the seat is not comfortable, that's going to be a problem down the road. You're not going to be a happy camper. You're talking about a vehicle in the $50,000 range for the top trim level, $35,000 on the lower trim level, but still two-way lumbar. Kind of disappointing because the passenger seat doesn't have anything at all. Is it completely uncomfortable? No, but it should be more comfortable. I do love the heated and cooled surfaces. That's really important, especially in the front row. But we'll talk about the seating in the second and third row, and then I'll give you a rating. In the second row, there is a lot of knee, head, and shoulder room, and that's great if you're just having two more people in the back, or you have the optional bench seat, which would give you a third person in the middle, which makes it even harder to get in the back. By the way, getting to the back from the second row, there's a tray here that has 2 cup holders. It's a little bit more of a last-minute thought, but I'm worried about little kids crawling back there or animals. You could easily get caught up in here or knock over a drink. Yes, the seat goes forward. It is kind of a tight fit to the third row. We'll talk about that in a minute. Behind the center console, you've got 2 heated seats, no AC, and even in the Platinum Edition. And this price point in the $50-some thousand range, I know that's retail, still have something else back here. You've got adjustable climate control, which is excellent. 2 2.1 outlets and 100-watt outlet for a regular plug-in. You've got 2 pockets for storage. Here you got these nice screens. Great when you got little kids or people that don't want to get blinded by the sun. Like the low door sills, really great for visibility for the second row. And tons of storage here in the doors. I think they did a really great job. I'm not really a big fan of these little skinny armrests. I know you need them, but they're just almost just a touch too thin. And remember, these do recline. So that's really good when you got child safety seats, and they adjust forward and aft so that in case the kids are kicking the back of your seat, you can adjust. But if you move it back, you're going to limit your third row space. Heading into the third row can be challenging, or you can slip up the middle if you're smaller. So what they want you to do is move the seat forward. There's tons of room. You put your foot in here. And if you adjust the seats further forward, you might be able to sit. I'm 5'8". I don't even know if I can get my legs back here. This should be challenging. Here we go. Oh boy. It's really tight. I'm mostly legs at 5'8", and I would say this is better for shorter, smaller people, animals, whatever. If you're going to get a third row SUV, make sure you sit in the third row. Have your family, whoever's going to sit in the third row, see if this works for them. So for seating, I gave it a 6. Part of the improvements in the technology of the 2020 Highlander is this huge 12.3-inch home screen. And one of the things I've always complained about with the Toyota lineup is there wasn't Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's standard on all trim levels. Thank you, Toyota. Now, when you look at the home screen, you can split this up in a really nice way. This has got your phone, it's got your audio system, navigation, and your climate. You can then adjust it. There's a menu, so you can pick what you want, whether you want your apps. This is great. Your destinations, pick what you want. Hit that little button on the side. You can bring in the climate control, and it's got all the subheadings here, almost like a bar, almost very Apple-esque if you're an Apple user. For the audio system, it's here, which is great. Again, you can split it up any way you want. I don't want the audio there. I want the map here. So you can adjust it, or I want the map here. So it's nice that you can pick what you want. You can pull it back and mix it up any way you want. This is fantastic. So they've done an amazing improvement over what they had. The navigation itself, it's, not necessarily 2020, but I have to say it's so much better than what they have. They even have a breadcrumb option. If you want to press this button, you can pick all the updates you want, a route trace if you're a person that gets lost. Great little details that are really, really important. Going further down as far as technology, this is all standard. That'll be part of features. As far as technology and this multimedia interface, really easy to use, extremely intuitive. Thank you for having buttons and tuning, because when you're driving, this is easy. Plus, you've got all this on your steering wheel. So you've got your forward collision warning, you can adjust your lane departure, you've got your cruise control and your audio system. Really easy to use, very intuitive, and I really appreciate this improvement. And I think it's going to cause more buyers to come back to buying the Highlander if they had purchased it before, but now there's so much competition. This is definitely something you need to look at. In addition to some of the technology of your head-up display and everything between the two gauges, I really am impressed with what Toyota is offering, so I gave it a 10 for technology. There are a ton of features on this car that really impress. Not just what's on the steering wheel, but also what's in front of you. You've got all the gauges that are actual analog gauges. I do appreciate that. And then there's all kinds of easy buttons to things that you're going to use every single day, whether it be the heated steering wheel, the defroster, opening up the deck lid. All that is great. I'm a big fan of this multimedia display and what it offers, but in addition to that, you've got heated and cooled seats, which I think is really important on the first row, heated seats. In the second row, like we said earlier, you got your air vents. Further down here, you got a ton of storage, which I think is great. You can put your sunglasses, whatever it is there. One of the nice options that this vehicle has is the 2.1 amp connections for USB. That's really great when you want to charge your phone. Of course, you've got your regular outlet and another USB outlet. So this is great when you want to store things. I think this is important. This is what we use every day, and we want to keep our items charged. You've got the cup holders, your standard Prindle, park, reverse, drive, neutral is usually low. This is interesting on the drive modes. You've got your sport, your normal, and your eco. And then you can push if you're going to do this off-road, the mud, the sand, the rock, and the dirt. Okay, I mean, is this an off-road vehicle? Like I said before, I'm not really sure. I wouldn't necessarily use this as an off-road vehicle when Toyota makes other great trucks that are very capable. You also have got all of your buttons here for hold and park. You can take off your traction control. I have no idea why, but it has a snow mode, a hill descent, and my favorite to shut off, the auto off. So when you're sitting at a traffic light, it shuts down the engine. Honestly, you can't even tell in this vehicle. They did a great job. In the center console, if you push this back, there is a wireless charger. This is really great, an important feature I think that many manufacturers are forgetting about. Underneath the wireless charging pad, which means your phone would probably fall off, you've got a very deep well. And in this deep well, you've got a tray that comes in and out and another charging port. That's great. However, when you're looking at the whole group of features, all the goodies that are in this vehicle, it's missing a few things and maybe a little bit clumsy on some things. So for features, I gave it a 9. There are a lot of design changes for the 2020 Highlander, and they were so needed. The new muscular sporty design really carries from front to back. You'll notice the new slimmer headlights. They're really cool. They're LED and they're adaptive, especially on the Platinum level, because the lower levels don't have all the same features, obviously. But what's nice about this is when you turn your steering wheel, the lighting goes with it. That's great. The grille reminds me of a Subaru. I don't know. What do you think on that? I mean, it's really nice and clean. I like the shiny black. It's much better than the previous generation, and I love the U on the hood. It just gives it that sporty, more muscular look. Down below, they went with a flat black, and I think that's good because you pick up a lot of bugs and just junk from the roadway, so I think that really helps, and the flat silver as well. The front of this vehicle looks so much better than the previous generation. Let's take a look at the side. Going along the side of the vehicle, I love the matte black wheel arches. It gives it that more truck-type, sportier look. And then this line, this body line is really cool. Very sporty. It fits in nicely. And then they went with the black in the middle. Sort of gives it that smaller look so it doesn't look so ominous because it is a pretty big truck. Everything here is nice. I like this little chrome strip here. Just a little bit of detail as you move your way back. The big 20-inch alloy wheels really nicely fit into the wheelhouses, which is so important because a lot of manufacturers miss that point. In the back, you've got LED taillights, brand new rear end, and the sporty wing, because you have to stand out in the crowd, and this thing does it. I like the matte silver they put down here. Just gives it that more cooler, sportier look. If you're going to drive this every day and you're going to haul people and haul stuff, this is so important to have it look really good. So when it comes to design, huge improvement. I gave it a 9. Quality is important both inside and outside, and this vehicle definitely impresses. It's made here in the USA. The high-end materials that are part of the interior were really well designed, put together, and a lot of soft touch materials because this is where you live. On the outside of the vehicle, really impressive, and I have to say for quality, it's Toyota. It earns a 10. With the third row folded down, you have 48.4 cubic feet of storage. That's pretty good. Putting up the third row is pretty simple. You just pull this tether and pull this one, put the headrests up, and now you've got 16.3 feet of cubic storage. There's a real nice carpet here, and underneath, there's more storage and all the tools to change a spare. There's also a cover that hides underneath here in case you want to put that cargo cover on top. Really good when you have valuables back here. The nice thing about the third row is if you lift up this lever, it reclines. And that's great if you got child safety seats. The second row reclines as well, and that's a really good value. Overall value of the vehicle based on the price, remember this vehicle is loaded. I give it a 9 for value because I tell you what, they're going to sell a heck of a lot of these Highlanders. We were really impressed with the 2020 Toyota Highlander. I knew it was going to be improved. We've seen them on the road, and we're also going to review the hybrid at a later date. So there are 9 different trim levels, and 2 of those are hybrid trim levels. Plus all the high ratings on the Highlander. It's pretty impressive. I gave it a total score of 89. Now remember, there's a lot of competition in this very tight category. Now that you have the total score of the Highlander, here's a tip. Make sure to check with your insurance agent before you make a decision, because there's like 20 vehicles in this category, and it's easy to find the one that has the best price, but how does that impact your budget as a whole? Here's some other ways to save money by checking out some of our other videos. Also, make sure to check out all the reviews on all the cars you're considering before you take it for a test drive, which is critical. We appreciate your comments, whether you bought one or not. We want to know what you think and start the conversation. If I didn't answer your questions, write them down below. I do answer everybody's questions personally. We appreciate your subscriptions and your support on our Patreon page. And if you're already subscribing, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you next time.